Hey there, everyone. So, the last few days, there has been a lot of misinformation going around that Israel is starving Gazans by blocking most, if not all, food. I've been watching multiple videos myself and also done some digging through other sources, but unfortunately, I haven't seen anyone going through the hard numbers yet. So, in this video, I'm going to debunk the claims that the Gazans are starving and that Israel is blocking the aid by by actually using the common media sources themselves. Because what's not better by actually using the sources themselves to make them actually debunk themselves by going through the hard data because they don't make any sense. So in this video, I've already asked ChatGPT and CoPilot questions, and I got a lot of results, which I will show. Um, and they have sourced the common media numbers and the common media sources. Um, and I will already tell you in this video right now that the long story short is that the numbers don't make any sense because all the people from Gaza would all of them would already have been unalived through starvation. So the way that the common media works is that they are often sourcing the United Nations, and the United Nations themselves are often sourcing the Gazan Health Ministry, also known as Hamas. So in this video right now, I will show you exactly what I asked and what I got. So when I asked ChatGPT how many tons of foods were the Gazan getting each month in between January 2025 and July 2025, and give the numbers per each month. So as you can see here, these are the numbers that I got. And by the way, I'm Dutch, so some of it is in Dutch, but this is the United Nations. This is also the United Nations, the Coordination Bureau of the Palestinian Area. This is, of course, Wikipedia, and I also got Reuters and Times of India and the Washington Post. So these were the numbers that I got, as you can see. And then right over here in Copilot, I asked the exact same, and I got these numbers. They were slightly different here and there, and I will show you in a sec. And they were actually also a little bit inconsistent here and there. But I got particular numbers, which I will show in a sec. Also, by the way, Copilot used pretty much the same sources. So it was actually also United Nations right over here. These are all the United Nations, the World Food Program. Those are also those others were actually United Nations. And down here I got LPEC, Daily Mail, and even BBC. And it doesn't even matter what large language model you will ask. They'll broadly all give you the same replies. Or even, of course, if you ask Copilot or ChatGPT themselves, yourselves, I mean. So I got particular numbers. I asked that I needed more exact numbers because some here and there said negligible. Then I got this. Then I actually saw that one of the numbers didn't make any sense. It was saying that it already got more than 300,000 metric tons. That was right over here in May. It said so. So I asked once again. I asked, how do you arrive at those particular numbers? When if I count them individually, I get closer to 80,000. And then it said, you're absolutely right to question the discrepancy. Then it says it's actually not supported. So, just to be sure, the large language models are sometimes false. Sometimes the numbers don't make any sense. So you have to ask them multiple times. And that's what I did in this video. So ultimately, anyway, and you can see here all the replies that it said. Ultimately, I got these numbers. So these were the final numbers that I got. This is for January. This is for February, etc., all the way to July. And you can see that they differed here and there. So then, using those particular numbers, I got the results that in between January 2025 and July 2025, according to the common media sources, so that's the United Nations, which got their sources from Hamas, they arrived from at a lower point of 76,000 tons and 140 tons. So then I asked ChatGPT, how far do the people of Gaza have to walk each day for food deliveries? Um, the reason why I asked this is that that I need to know how many food they need per day or per month, to be exact, because I want to know how much calories they need. So then I got a long answer. I got something like 25 kilometers, which you can see right over here. And then I asked ChatGPT, let's say an average person of 170 centimeters and 60 kilograms has to walk this amount every day. How much calories are then used every day on average? Um, just as a side note, before some of you are asking, why are you using 170 centimeters and 60 kilograms? I mean, that's too low a number. The reason why I asked, why I picked those, is that about half of the Gazans are below age 18. So there are a lot of children. So when you actually when you try to come with average, I think this was a pretty good estimation. I think this is pretty fair. Of course, there are also a lot of adults which are larger and in particular more heavier. But I think these are pretty good numbers. So then it gave all these answers. Then it calculated how much calories they burn every day. And then ultimately they said it's around 2,700. Personally, I think that's too low. And that's actually why I asked ChatGPT in another time in another page right over here, how much they have to walk and how much they burn a day. And as you can see right over here, when I asked ChatGPT, it came for a second time. It came with far larger numbers. It actually came around these numbers. So these were actually closer. Um, so it actually came around with this, which is higher. So this is more like a little bit above 3,000 kilocalories. So first right over here it said about 2,700, and then the next time it says about 3,000. But anyway, I'm just saying this because I will take the 2,700 number. However, just for each one of you, you just have to remember that it's probably a little bit higher. It's actually closer to a little bit above 3,000. So that's actually also what I ask here. And then I got all this. And then ultimately, I think 2,700 was a pretty good number. Once again, I think it's a little bit too low, but for now it will do. And then I asked ChatGPT, okay, so given 2,700 kilocalories per day, how much tons of food do the Gazans need per month? And then it actually estimated this number, which is a little bit over 46,000 tons each month. Which actually, from all the research that I've done myself, because I have also calculated myself before, I think that's a pretty fair number. When you are very strict, if you take the fact that none of the Gazans are moving every day, so they're all pretty much sitting all of the day, then it would be closer to about 35,000. However, when you calculate that they, of course, they are moving every day, and it should always be a little bit higher. There's even some spoilage going on. I think this is a pretty fair number. And also important to mention is that the United Nations are actually saying that it's more than 62,000 tons. So this number is already lower than what the United Nations actually calculates, which is important because because this number is actually a better. If I'm going to show you guys in a sec that it's all bunk. Okay, so then So then I asked ChatGPT more questions. I wanted to know. So this is what it calculated what they need. Of course, this is not what they supposedly are getting, because the average is so after 7 months. Within 7 months, they actually got this number. So they got closer to 141,000. And then when you actually divide this by 7, you get um, you get oh, just one sec, 257. You get about 20,000. So that means that it's the number that they are getting is even lower than half than what they need every day, or what they need every month. So once again, it calculated that they need 2,700 kilocalories. And then I asked them some questions. Just right over here, I asked him wrong, so I didn't quite got what I needed. And then right over here, so I asked once more, because I wasn't getting what I needed. Is basically is that they need about is that what they're getting, is a little bit lower than 1,200 kilocalories per day. So that's what I already said. That's lower than half. So actually, taking this number, so given 1,177 kilocalories per day, rather than the 2,700 they require, how much would a 170 centimeter 60 kilogram person weigh after 7 months? And after the 7 months, they would actually be weighing lower than 20 kilograms. So once again, so the result of me asking all of this is all of them would already have been starved by now. All of them. So all the 2 million Gazans in Gaza would already have starved to death by now. They already would have done so many months ago. So taking those numbers, so once again, I've debunked by now in this video that the numbers that the United Nations give don't make any sense. All of the people from Gaza should already have been starved to death by now. I'm just going to show you right over here. I didn't ask anything in addition. Also not over here. And now I'm actually going to show you guys what the actual numbers are. So these are the numbers from COGAT, and COGAT is a organization that works together with Egypt, United Nations, and the USA and Israel into getting into not only calculating the amount of food entering Gaza every month or every day, but also actually making sure that they are delivered and all. And when you actually take the numbers that they have, is that the numbers no, they are right over here, is that the numbers are actually far larger. So the numbers don't make any sense. In January they got 164,000, and then in February they got more than 200,000, and then in May, June, and July they actually they also got far larger numbers that the United Nations calculated. And actually when you take these numbers, so once again, you I think the 45,000 tons a day or per month is a pretty fair number. Then you actually see that they are getting more than enough food. So taking all these numbers together, you are definitely above the 300,000 something that we calculated already in January and February. It would already have been more than enough. And actually, from the beginning of the war, the average is way above 45,000 when you actually take numbers from every month. So no, so by now in this video I have debunked the claim that the people of Gaza are starved to death, and I actually have some more things that I want to show you guys, because perhaps people are saying, the numbers from COGAT don't make any sense, and they are biased because those are the humanitarian efforts by Israel. And then, okay, let's actually take a look at this particular file right over here, which actually addressed the discrepancies in the UN aid to Gaza. And you can actually read it yourself. You can actually find it if you go down right over here and you click on see more. That actually brings you to it's actually this source right over here, so you can read it yourself. And I will not go through everything. This video is already long enough, but there are actually a few important things to point out. So first of all, they go through the discrepancies, and they use a couple of arguments. So one of those is that the UNRWA, which is part of the UN, is underreporting due to the fact that they do not include aid trucks coming in from the Erez crossings and J-lots, and at Kerem Shalom they only collect partial data. There are 4 places in Israel which the trucks come in through, and I actually wanted to show you those. So the 4 places are so they're actually right over here. So this Kerem Shalom, Rafah, Erez West, and Erez East. There are actually also some coming in through the water or the air, but when you're talking about truck deliveries, they're all coming through those. And this source is saying that UNRWA or the United Nations are underreporting those because they are once again collecting a part of the Kerem Shalom, and they do not include aid trucks coming in from the other areas. So that's actually the first thing. And just to show you guys, they actually do. So every day there's daily coordination meeting every evening with representatives from the UN, the US, and Egypt to review that day's humanitarian effort. So they are actually doing their best to work together and just to check, isn't Israel, isn't COGAT making up the numbers? No, they aren't, because once again they're working together. And I think it was actually also right over here. Just as there are significant gaps in the data reporting on UN aid entering Gaza, those gaps are even more significant when it comes to reporting on non-UN actors, which includes aid sent by donor countries, NGOs, and the private sector. So basically, there's even more information that the UN is underreporting all the trucks, whereas COGAT is actually a better source. So COGAT is working together once again with the UN, the US, and Egypt to review that day's humanitarian effort. So they actually calculate all of the numbers of the trucks that are going in and out in Gaza. So I've also shown by now that COGAT is a more trustworthy source than United Nations. In fact, I actually looked up the United Nations last week, and they haven't been collecting the data since January this year. So you can even quite make use of those sources. When you actually take a look at those, apparently there's no food coming in at all. And also, what I wanted to show you guys right over here is, once again, Israel is clearly not blocking all aid. And before you perhaps say that there's nothing in March and April, I know that for a short while they did block some aid from going in, if not all. However, they did so because Hamas was pretty much stealing those and selling those on the black market, which they could use to once again buy more weapons. So they actually within that 2-month window, they did their best in quickly setting up even more better things to to really get the aid to the Gazan population rather than Hamas. And right over here in January and February, there was more than efficient food going in. Even the most of the aid which is going in is actually food. I can show it right over here, like more than 80%, and even in January and February, most of it was food. So just to show you guys. So no, Israel's clearly not starving the Gazan population. They got more than enough. They needed 45,000, and they got more than enough in these months. Also, right over here. So no, they have a sufficient amount of food going on. So now I want to finish this video by showing a couple more videos to end on, just to show you guys that there is a lot of food sitting right now at the United Nations at Israel's border, and the United Nations is not actually picking those up. So this video is on the side of Gaza, and all the food is waiting here just to be picked up by trucks. They haven't been doing this. So just check out this video.
15,000 bottles of water here. There's 15,000 bottles of water that people could be drinking. This is interesting.
And this is July 27th, as you can
This
see.
is
Which is yesterday.
672 bottles of water. Are there water here? There's 15.
So as I just showed you, this isn't an old video. This is from yesterday, and there's a lot of food and water waiting just right over here at the border crossing from Israel. There's a lot of food and drink just to be picked up. Also in this video, I actually want to show the next segment. So there's actually so last month this was filmed exactly 1 month ago. I think it was on the 28th of June. And here you can actually see the Gazan population in the background getting all of the food. So I think this is you can see it better right over here. So
distribution.
So this is a reporter which actually got into Gaza. So it's also a lot of nonsense going on that journalists can't enter Gaza. They can, however, they can't go to particular areas, of course, because there's fighting going on. And if they get unalived, all the blame goes to Israel because the anti-Israel train is running hard. So just take a look at the people right behind him.
Centers inside Gaza. As you can see behind me, there are a large number.
And this person over here, he definitely has some he's definitely overweight.
Around about 20,000 Gazans have come here to collect aid delivered into Gaza by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. And there's about 20 trucks worth of food behind me. The Humanitarian Foundation, to me, seems to do an extraordinary job here in Gaza.
So this is what I wanted to show you guys. So once again, according to the numbers that I showed you right over here, all the people, we went through the numbers, a lot of the people in Gaza should have been dead right now. A lot of them all of them would have been starved by now. If you just go by these numbers don't make any sense. These numbers are inaccurate. Those are completely inaccurate. There's a lot of food going in. And the United Nations isn't reporting those, especially the numbers from January and February, in which they got a lot of food. They are actually underreporting those. They are saying it's only a very small part. They're only saying it's like 2,200 or 57,000. No, those are remarkably inaccurate. And actually, I also want to show this video right over here. So I'm going to show you a short video. This is a child which has which is, however, underweight. However, the reason why he's underweight is not because the children can't get enough food. No, it's actually because this child is suffering from a genetic disorder, and I'm just going to show the video because the person on this video will explain.
Widely spread image of a skinny boy. Now look at his mom sitting next to him. She is clearly not starving. Gazans are using photos of children with genetic diseases to accuse Israel of starvation. Here is something you probably don't hear in the news. Around 40% of Gazans marry their cousins. That dramatically increases genetic disorders, including those that cause children to be severely underweight, regardless of war or food supply. And let's be honest. In places with real famine, like Sudan, parents don't film their kids eating dirt and post it on Instagram. That's an actual trend in Gaza. Feed your child sand, film it, upload it. Why? To make Israel look evil. Parents harming their own children for propaganda. Have you ever seen Sudanese parents do that? There is a lot of famine, but if there were real famine, you wouldn't just see famine ever. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you guys. You can look up the video further yourself if you want to, but clearly this woman right over here is overweight, and she's just using. This is really sickening. They are actually using children with genetic disorders, which are suffering from things like cancer. Even I've actually seen multiple of those. Just to make the claim that they are suffering from starvation, which is clearly not the case, because even look at the mother. She's clearly not starving. Is she taking all the food herself? It just doesn't make any sense. It's not even a baby. It doesn't even require very much particular nutrition. It's all just a lot of nonsense. So the United Nations, a lot of them are just anti-Semitic, and even right over here. So this actually shows that they are actually using videos from children which are actually starving in Yemen and even Sudan. So all the people protesting in the streets are just anti-Semitic because they're only protesting because it involves Israel. If they actually cared about children starving and starvation, they would be protesting about the wars in Yemen and Sudan going on. But they aren't, because those don't involve Jews. They only involve Muslims.
Photos of starving, they are stealing other people's suffering.
And also this video right over here. So there was actually a girl which was shot by a Houthi sniper. It's actually also from 6 years ago, as you can see. So yeah, so this is just also a lot of misinformation going on right over here. And this part right over here is also sickening, because the children are actually all being brainwashed by being very anti-Semitic. They should be. I'm going to show this very small part right over here. He's going to fight for ISIS. And they are all liars and dogs. They will expel them. He supports stabbing.
About
Stabbing of
West
Jews.
Bank.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to show from this particular video. Then also want to show this particular video, very short. So these are actually protesting Hamas. And the common media doesn't show you all these things. You won't see these. The common media show you these things. Also right over here.
أجل بقائهم الحياة. هنا حماس تطالب أن يبقى صامدا. كيف يبقى صامدا؟ لازم على حماس عليها التوقف ما يجري في قطاع غزة. للعالم كله رافضين حكم حماس ورافضين ما يجري.
نساعد بالسلام ونحن نطالب الآن الحكم بالحق وسنقرر من يحكم للسلام.
So they actually want peace, and they actually want peace with Israel. They are against Hamas, and this is the last video which I wanted to show you. This is actually a video showing the Hamas leaders. They are actually eating the food that they actually stole from the Gazan population. So this is the end of the video. This is all what I wanted to show you guys. So I've debunked the claims that there's starvation going on, and I've even in addition showed that the people protesting in the streets, they aren't helping at all, and even the common media, they are literally using lies. They are using Hamas propaganda, and they are actually not helping the Gazan people at all. The actual people that are helping the Gazans, however, is actually one of them being the most important one, Israel, because they are actually delivering food, and they are doing their best to destroy Hamas while killing at least as civilians as they can. The facts are that about 60,000 people have died in Gaza right now, and half of them are half or even 20,000 of them are Hamas. And those are actually great numbers when you look from an urban warfare area perspective, because the statistics of even 1 by 1 or 1 by 2 civilian deaths for every Hamas soldier that died is actually historically pretty much the best that has ever been accomplished in urban modern warfare. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.